Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, dear esteemed panelists, speakers, hosts, and audience, good evening. I'm Nermeen Nabil, Co-Vice Dean for Community Development and Environmental Affairs and a member of the Epidemiology Department in the High Institute of Public Health, Alexandria University, Egypt. On behalf of the Arab Public Health Association, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the second COVID-19 webinar on exit strategy and the new normal. On behalf of an extremely important and interesting topic, I'm sure we all are eager to know about. Thank you, Professor Salman, for inviting me to chair this interesting meeting. Important and interesting topic. I would like to refer here to the many initiatives the association is continuously taking, tackling the important issues concerning our Arab world. I would also like to take the chance to acknowledge the efforts our Arab governments and health professionals are making facing COVID-19 pandemic. Our Arab world. I would also like to take the chance. As we all know, the novel coronavirus COVID-19 started in China and snowballed into a pandemic declared on the 11th of March 2020, and now threatens the global public health, the interconnected global economy, the lives, livelihoods, development, well-being, and security of people around the world. The world has passed through different phases and strategies from mitigation to suppression, which had profound impact on the different aspects of life, whether social, psychological, and economic, bringing the world to a virtual standstill. This pandemic is a crisis unlike any we have seen, and like previous crises, it will bring out the best and the worst in us. World leaders and scientists are planning are placing much hope on quickly finding a vaccine or a cure for COVID-19, but this is unlikely in the short term. And therefore, although health experts urge caution, governments are under extreme financial pressure to reopen their economies, and no matter what they do, lockdown fatigue will push But the decision of unlocking or even easing restrictions will be faced by many challenges ahead, as studies show that there are more than one genotype of the COVID-19 with different levels of infectivity. Some models suggest 9 waves of infection before herd immunity is achieved. And as I mentioned before, in the absence of a vaccine or a present cure. Therefore, unlocking should be done under public health principles as infection status, community acceptance, public health capacity, and health systems spare capacities as well. There are also key issues that play an important role in this situation as globalization and trade, technology and innovation, and also behavioral shifts as well. Each crisis leaves behind permanent structural changes. The pandemic, the post-pandemic new normal after COVID-19 will be just our normal later. So what would the post-COVID-19 world be like? The pandemic, the post-pandemic new normal after COVID-19 will be just our Today, we're so fortunate to have as speakers the distinguished Dr. Abdullah Algwiziani, Chief Executive Saudi CDC Riyadh, and Professor Dr. Abdellatif Elmor, Professor of Public Health, Zagazig University, Egypt, and Vice President of the Egyptian Society for Administrations and Governance of Healthcare. They will both shed the light on the future of our new normal. Dr. Abdullah Algwiziani will talk to us about the practical experience in applying public health measures while assuring some normality in our living, both social and business, followed by Dr. Abdellatif, who will give us a talk about how we will invent tomorrow based on scientific evidence. This will be followed by a discussion held by the panel where we are going to take some questions from the participants. I'm sure this webinar will meet your expectations. So please, Dr. Abdullah Algwiziani, would you please start?
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak on this important topic. As you alluded before, I think there is a considerable interest in exploring what would be the new norm. As we currently stand, most countries are easing the restriction in different approaches. And there is still a question and how and to what extent these measures should be applied. And also the most important is that the importance of engagement of the whole public and sectors, government and non-government, toward this implementing. So I will try to share my my slide. Is it available to you?
For me, no.
Host disabled. Yeah, host disabled. Could you enable us to share? I think you need to be to enable us to share our slide.
Chido, can you enable sharing slide, please?
Okay. Until we get the, we'll be enabled to share our slide. I think
I think it's open, but let us check. Done. Just click on the slide. Click on it, Dr. Abdullah.
Okay, it's obvious.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Okay. So
That's clear now. Yes, yes.
okay, okay. As I said, we currently just a reminder of how pandemic evolved. Currently, we are in the pandemic phase where we have a prevalence of viruses across the globe. Currently, mass testing and tracing and quarantine in place. Some of the countries already in full or partial lockdown. No international travel, rapid risk assessment and measures in place, and public messaging, and also the health worker currently in first phase for counter attack and responding to the COVID-19. And new norm, or the adapting with the virus, is something that it's not a new thing to the pandemic. It's something that has been since the humankind addressing any sort of infection. It is different between era and era according to whatever platforms there, and whether the and how advanced the science there. And you can see that 1918 Spanish flu, some sort of measure of adhering or living with the virus. Given the fact most of the pandemic, if we have know about 2009, 2003, and also 1918, it sometimes takes more than 12 to 18 month period, which is a bit long period, and need to live with the virus. And as I said, that these measures has in a way or another impacted the second wave to lesser extent. And currently we are in the same in the mid of the pandemic, and this, despite the fact that we have a very good modern medicine advanced, yet the mortality has reached almost 300,000 and above, and yet most of these diseases has common new norm or common countermeasure, ranging from protecting yourself from the affected people, social distancing, and improving the hand or personal hygiene. And I would like to give a couple of talk about what would be the, and what has been done at the public health system in response to pandemic, And as you say, most of the public health system, when we say that system, has responded to the COVID-19 pandemic through surveillance, testing, and contact tracing. Significant and important of having an effective communication, effective messaging and communication across the whole platforms, tradition and non-tradition. Guidelines for the healthcare worker, businesses, and public in order to adhere and address this. And then ultimately lockdowns and curfew measures has implemented in most of the country. One of the new things is using the digital apps was something eminent and something new to this pandemic for the track and trace. And lastly, understanding the impact of disease by doing seroprevalence testing in the government. While the public, the response of the public as itself, it's more of a new adapting to the new norms, implementing themselves the personal hygiene and infection control practices, practicing physical distancing, and important of reporting any symptoms as a civil duty. During the response, lots of guidelines, lots of communication addressing healthcare and schools and government and non-government. This is very important of having these measures to be given through the response. And ultimately, not only restricted to certain area, but this is one of the preparedness part of developing a clear messaging to address all the sectors with a clear and multi-language messages that to address all sectors as the public are main or the targeted audience. And when you go to the recovery or easing, I would say easing of the restriction, a clear and effective protocols that addresses all the areas from all aspects, from the government and non-government, addressing so many features of our modern life in workers, economy, and third parties, and etc. is important, with the importance of having agility to go back whenever these measures is not delivering what it's intended for. It's very important also to have and these protocols, it has a component of monitoring and evaluation, and also assessing the impact of these protocols. As you know, that country over all the globe, all over the globe, countries now is easing restriction. They are opening, most of the countries is in different stage of easing the restriction. No international flights currently, and effective international flights. So all the country now, they are moving for easing the restriction with a different stage and different approach in accord to country and country. Definitely the understanding of that impact is extremely important aspect. So what will be the life of a new norm look like? It's very important to know that there is no currently a vaccine, and there is no evidence-based treatment. So people in the new life will be more of using their participation in addressing and mitigating the risk. The responsibility relies on the government and non-government, and so on people, to address and implement personal protective measures, from committing and wearing the mask, frequently using the hand washing, try to isolate the vulnerable group, and also practicing social distance. And I know sometimes difficult in our Arab world, the social distancing sometime and not shaking the hand is something we need to address and get used to it. And that's for sure is one of the major advantage of this pandemic, is actually that has adapt us and change us in a way that it's okay to not shake hand and sometimes painful, because you cannot address or hug your beloved one, father or mother, but it's something that it's for the best of them. And I think it's a kind of a cultural change. I think this pandemic has changed us, culturally, in a way that to understand how to mitigate the virus. And what would be the new norm for the health sector? The health sector will continue to be a pivotal role in supporting the counterattack of the COVID. Need to have implemented measures, need to have a role in primary care also to address and also implement preventive measures in the communities. We rely on telemedicine through online clinics, try to avoid or protect the vulnerable societies or group, and also self-isolate of the people who get infected. It's either new norm or the easing restriction. It has a benefit for all. It's this pandemic. It has so many faces. One of them is not only health; it's health and other economy. So it's a multi-sectoral approach. Everyone is it's the best of everyone that they comply to the measures from various aspects of the government and non-government. As I said, that it's the best of interest of the economy also, and of malls and shops to adhere to these measures and keep the new norm is one of the great or very important measures. So as much as they adhere to these measures, the best of their it will be for their best as well. And with that, we'll go through the businesses and offices that they need to practice physical distancing, checking the temperature before going inside, adhering and providing the hand washing, and have an effective reporting system to have if you have any symptom and etc. And I think one of the important things that in the new norm, that these things could be communicated very frequently with a clear message and more frequent and consistent, and need to have addressed social and non-social media, even traditional media. As you know, that the vulnerable group of the elder, usually they are not all of them, but some of them, they don't have the know-how how to check the internet or the social media. So that some sort of content should continue to the social or traditional media as well, and need to also implement some fines for non-compliance. Moving forward, we cannot be complacent. All sectors need to be have a role in the public protection. It's a new culture, it's a new behavior. We need to understand it and move on. We need to be resilient, agile, to modify and to adapt and move, work through this pandemic. Still, again, this is also just emphasizing the importance of the employee and the personal and people response. And also, when you talk about international travel, still there is a big unknown about the when and how to ease the international travel. So I just need to sum up my talk. Is in face of no vaccine and no evidence-based treatment, we need to be prepared for the second wave and try to ease it through our measures. Need to minimize if we have a second wave to as small as possible, and the community need to be resilient through strategy to adhere to counterattack the adherence fatigue. Messages to all sectors. Keep public updated through effective communication, measures to enforce public adherence and precautionary measures in the community, and use innovative strategy and technology. And lastly, we should not forget working on the scientific and research and academia in order to enhance the journey toward vaccine and treatment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. It was very interesting talk. Now with Professor Dr. Abdellatif Elmor, Professor of Public Health at Zagazig University. Please start, Dr. Abdellatif.
بروفيسور نرمين شايفه حضرتك السلايدز عندي؟
Professor Abdullah, to remove the slide, please. Yeah, carry on. Do your slide.
Hello. شايف السلايدز بروفيسور سلمان؟
Yeah, share your slide. Share it.
كده shared, okay?
Yeah, we can see it. Well
Very
done.
nice. طيب الأول thank you Professor Abdullah المحاضرة. This is very good presentation. Thank you Professor Salman for this invitation. Thank you Professor Chairwoman, I'm sorry, Professor Nermeen. I am very pleased to be with you now. I will speak about very course 15 minutes nearly. Okay. This is very important topic, as you know, and today we will speak about now or never chance. We have now or never chance. We can big wins in public health because we can change global health expenditures as a whole. We have many measures to suppress and lock down this very pandemic or big pandemic. COVID exit is very important subject, and we have to move forward because we cannot lock down the towns, we cannot lock down the global as a whole, so we have to go forward. Of course, we have many chances again at e-health. E-health is a very big chance to make faster locking down or lifting lockdown. Also, we have many recommendations and challenges. As you know, these slides. You see the slides very fast, very spreading this epidemic. And also, I don't want to forget this collateral damage, because as you know, of some of the non-communicable diseases, now we ignore some treatment of non-communicable disease, we ignore some of vaccination, normal vaccinations. So I don't want to ignore these things. We have to do balance between COVID treatment and COVID management and other diseases. Lockdown is part of suppressions. It wants to save lives, flatten the curve, but it also have major economic and disadvantages. It's as you see in Arabic, al-ighlaq shar la budda minnu. We have to lock down to go over to control this epidemic. But till now, no single approved strategic management, no single approved. We have multiple variables to lock or unlock down. Different lockdown scenarios have been seen, as you know. For example, a complete lockdown as China, some partial lockdown, and some didn't do anything like Prussia or Sweden. So we have to evaluate this effectiveness as a whole. It's not an easy thing to say that, for example, Sweden is the best or the worst, or China is the best is the worst, because we have many indicators to say that. So we need to go forward. We go to get a new normal. New normal, we need to recover as quickly as possible, because we have to adjust our work, our home, our social lifestyle. One of the simple and most important things we want to stress, or for World Health Organizations and see also, we have to get this chance إنه نستغل الفرصة من WHO من CDC إنه to translate their scientific language and scientific brochures and posters to Arabic by routine. عايزين نترجم CDC و WHO routinely to as one of the main language for WHO and CDC. Also, I want to stress to improve for communication improvement of WHO. I asked WHO, World Health Organizations, to differentiate between scientists and public health, because there were many fear in the public, because they share the strictly scientific things for the public. And I think this is not usual things. Also, I stress to get a new one, a new pandemic alert, because this alert was not consistent with COVID, this one, this global. If you see this presentation, if you see slides, it's very dangerous. I want to stress all my dear distinguished public health officers to tell their ministers, to tell their government to change this one. You see, this is America spent 8.1 for health and only 3.6 for military. But in our Mediterranean region, it is vice versa, as you see. So this pandemic is chance to correct our expenditure on health, and also it is very big chance to correct the budget for our preventive medicine. For preventive medicine, it's only 0.2 in EMRO, only 0.2. It is very, very low compared to maybe 6% on another countries. So economy dependence. Also, we have many changes to go to unlock or lift and lock for the WHO. It's a challenge, big challenge for WHO and for Ministry of Health to get their own economy independence. They must search for independence. We have to evaluate many scenarios. For example, this is Forbes model. It's one of the most complicated and one of the best, I think, because it has 100 model or 100 indicators to evaluate the success of any plan in the world. But for me, it is one for sure to make it short: COVID-19 mortality and morbidity and other disease mortality and morbidity. Okay, now we have good challenge. To exit COVID exit is a political decision, but it is not only political decision, it's based on public health decisions. So we have many challenges as we expecting second wave. We have no enough knowledge, we have no single scenario, we have no vaccine, we have no accurate diagnosis, we have no definitive treatment. Full immunity is doubted, reinfection is recorded, herd immunity not in the future, public pressure for the community pressure, and we have political interference. So we have to get a clear strategy is needed, a clear strategy for exit. For example, this strategy wants holistic approach, but stepwise implementation. Holistic approach, stepwise implementation, and we have to evaluate our locking down. How long this lockdown, what should be eased, when to start easing. Main indicators and principle to exit like disease, morbidity, mortality, infection control, health system capacity, especially ready for second wave if there is economic status. Every community and every country has its own different circumstances and budget and economic status, and also community acceptance. For disease characteristic, I think new cases and cumulative cases, also RO or R naught is one of the best, and also doubling rate. We have to consider all these characteristics of the infection itself. For myself, I did this table using the World Health Organization, also World Global Meter, World Meter. I make some of the post indicators and make one of the easy way to evaluate health system during this crisis. Also for health system capacity, you have, as all of you know, the 5M manpower. We have to quantify, quality manpower. We have to maybe تعيينات جديدة for support the manpower. Healthcare needs support, need money for this global pandemic. We have material like bed, number of beds, number of ICU, number of ventilators, mechanical ventilator, isolation rooms, all PPE available. This can be could be achieved before exit down. Also management, we have a management leader system and management leadership to be effective leadership. Also, we have to get contingency plan A, plan B, plan C, if there is any second wave. For example, also another important point like USA and even maybe most of the countries, they have no single plan for the whole country, but they want one gradual, maybe one governorate by each. يعني كل محافظة لوحدها أو كل state لوحدها. This is USA, this is Australia, I think. This is community. One of the most important or the third indicators for COVID exit or to exit or lifting lockdown is to see the community capacity to for the burden of this pandemic. لازم نشوف في هيحصل مشاكل، انخفاض المرتبات، زياده التاكسز، لازم هنشوف في مشاكل جدا، مشاكل كبيره بتعوق اللوك داون. So we have to consider all this before unlocking down. Also two main indicators عشان نفهم اللوك داون، مش نقعد نحفظ. two main drivers to identify new normal. One of the best is social distance. Also this social distance, as you know, the slides, 1 meter in WHO, World Health Organizations, and 1.5, 1.8 in CDC. So we have to clarify, because this will affect isolation, will affect quarantine, will affect travel itself. Also virus transmission. So these two drivers can help to get the setting of co-exit or COVID exit, especially if it is home, outside, work, faith and mosques and church, restaurant, everywhere. This slide is very easy and very easy for schools. You see the small kids, even the small kids making or show social distance by very similar one. We have to work online. We have to work online as long as we can do. If we can't work online, so keep your distance. This is for Egypt, some policy, detailed policy for Egypt. And this is one for KSA. This is for Australia. So every country has its own circumstances. Now, we have some challenges, many challenges, and one roadmap to correct this pandemic or COVID exit. Before COVID exit, or before locking down, we have many challenges. Like health reform. This is, I think, I repeat again, this is very big chance to correct. It's now or never. We can correct health reform. Now, we as public health experts, we can pressure on our ministers, we can pressure on our government to get health reform and to get more budget for preventive medicine, to get globally solidarity, to get WHO support. We have to support WHO, and also WHO has to support us, and they have to change their policies. They have to change to be more malleable, more faster to track the virus. E-health is one of the big chances. E-health, we have to get e-health, artificial intelligence. I will show you now one already, one Chinese natural, one Chinese paper is published in, I think, Nature magazine. One artificial intelligence program can expect 90% of COVID. So it's very nice. حقيقي هايل. واحد من الارتفيشال انتليجنس بروجرام قدر يستكشف 90%. So this is one way to lifting or to ease or to make easier for lockdown. Also, I think we have chance to get online global research network. حقيقي لازم نوحد الاستراتيجيات، لازم نوحد الميثودولوجي، وممكن نعمل جلوبال ريسيرش نتورك علشان نقدر نوصل بسرعه جدا للتحديات ونوصل للمانجمنت. Global net online or e-health online. Also, this is one of the big change or challenges for us to ease lockdown and to lift lockdown. We have to make global net e-health online. لازم نسرع البحوث بالعالم كله، لازم نوحد الميثودولوجي اجين، لازم نستغل كلنا كيونيتي كسوليداريتي ان احنا نعمل اي هيلث اونلاين عشان نشوف الريسك فاكتورز، الدايجنوزس، تريتمنت. في مشاكل كتير جدا، نلبس ماسك ولا لا، الهيدروكسي كلورين نستخدمه ولا لا، اللوك داون نافع ولا لا. كل ده لو عملنا جلوبال نت اونلاين I think it is will be very big step forward. This is very simple and very important. مجرد الانكوبيشن بيريود starting from 2 days 24 days حاجه صغيره جدا، لكن هتاثر على الترافل، بتاثر على الايزوليشن، بتاثر على الكرانتين، بتاثر على الفلوس كلها. يعني very big difference between budget. لو قلنا الانكوبيشن بيريود 2 days or 24، لو قدرنا نوحد الكلام ده على مستوى عالمي بالجلوبال هيلث او جلوبال ريسيرش ونتفق عليه بين WHO بين الCDC بين الدول وفي الابحاث بتاعتنا، هنوفر وقت وفلوس كتير عشان الليفتنج لوك داون. Even الماسك one of the best protective weapons we have. واحد من اكبر الاسلحه اللي احنا عايزينها الماسك. ومع هذا there is controversy between WHO between CDC. We have to see the value. هنمشي مع اهميه WHO بتقول مش لازم قوي، الCDC بتقول لازم نوصل لحل عشان نقدر نقنع العالم. Also surgical mask or cotton mask. في نقص shortage, very big shortage in the whole country. So we have to reach this. يعني we have to make our استعداداتنا لازم ننتج كميات اكبر كتير. لازم الفلوس الماسك تبقى باي affordable for the poor. الفقراء النهارده في مناطق كتير في العالم ما يقدروش يستخدموا الماسك. عشان كده احنا بنقول الماسك واحد of the most protective value, but we cannot afford, we cannot apply لكل العالم. عايزين فلو تشارت واضح عشان تقدر توصل للاكزيت كوفي اكزيت ليفتنج لوك داون. عايزين فيري ويل نون كلير شارت ويبقى متوافق عليه في العالم. لو انا مرضت اعمل ايه، لو احتجت اطلع من المستشفى اعمل ايه، لو هروح البيت اعمل ايه. الفلو تشارت ده هيخلي قرار الاكزيت او ليفتنج لوك داون فيري ايزي. This is new normal challenge. I want to consume or to use this big pandemic to get for health promotion. We want to support health promotion and healthy food and healthy lifestyle. What about the challenge? We have many challenges. I'm about to finish. So these challenges, like all of us know, it is political commitment, lack of money, lack of expertise. So we have many challenges. E-health is not complied, or the e-health is not applied during the whole world. So we have to conclude this challenges. We have to this barrier or this obstacles to break. Okay, now we have, by this webinar, we want to make pressure on our government, we want to make pressure on our Minister of Health to press them, to persuade them that health is investment. We have to get money for the preventive medicine and for the health as a whole. This chart is very nice because it denotes for us prophylactic is the best choice. Prophylaxis is the best choice. So last one, I think, thank you. And I really want to use this chance of this very big seminar and distinguished participant to press our community government to tell them that health is investment. الصحة استثمار. لازم نعيد أولويات الصحة في بلادنا. الصحة مش أقل من الإنفاق على الميليتري إطلاقا ولا على أي حاجة تانية. الصحة والتعليم دول لازم نستثمر فيهم بقوة علشان البانديميك ده كلفنا تريليونز. حوالي بعض التقديرات بتقول 30 تريليونز، يعني خسارة أكتر من اللاست ريسيشن في 1930. فالبانديميك ده خطير جدا ولازم يدي إيحاء للحكومات كلها والحكومات والشعوب ولينا كاكسبرت اوف بابليك هيلث ان احنا لازم نطور الصحه العامه، لازم نطور ادوات الصحه العامه. الاي هيلث لازم تستغل، البادجت بتاعت البريفنتيف ميديسن لازم تتعدل، الانفيرتد او الامبالانس بتوين الانفاق على الصحه الوقائيه والصحه العلاجيه لازم تتعدل، والا هيبقى فيه بانديميك تاني وثالث ورابع مش هنقدر نتصرف معاه. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the last one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdellatif. It was very comprehensive and interesting. And I think it's now time for the discussion. Dr. Salman, would you like to?
Thank you very much indeed, Chair. Well done. And thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdellatif. Excellent presentation. You set the scene for us in a beautiful way. I think we received a lot of questions. We take it during the discussion, and my team in the background, which I'm grateful for them, picking all the questions and sending it here. We also received many questions via emails. I think the most interesting things came from a pathologist at St. George's, Dr. Arnaut. And he is talking about the severity of the pathological changes they are seeing in these cases. And the reason I thought I bring this question to us in saying that when you look at the new model, the new normal, the new way we are going to live our life, we need to appreciate one important thing, that this is a severe conditions. And like many people saying that yes, we know that only 20% of cases will be moderate or severe infection. And certainly, luckily, the majority are not, 80%, even slightly more than 80%. And now good percentage of these patients treated in hospitals or even at home, among the 20%, are actually recovering, but we don't know whether they are recovering fully or not. This is subjected to a lot of other studies. I want to hear from you, and Chairman, you could chip in if you wish. How do we balance between the severity, i.e. taking into account that this is a very serious condition, and easing the measures and moving into the new normal? To you, Dr. Abdullah.
Thank you, Prof. Well, the fact that this virus is still, there is a lot of unknown about this virus, and no one can really be assertive whether this is an clear understanding of it. We're not learning about the virus and how it's behave and how that has an impact on the severity. And definitely we know that for a fact that majority of the cases have mild or no symptoms. But again, this is relative in how you balance it, this with the health system, and how this health system is going to handle even the 20% of those have symptomatic, and how or less than 10% of they're requiring critical, and that's difficult. We know for a fact that critical care management is pivotal to address and provide and therapy for those patients. We know for a fact that body or people are different reacting to the virus. Some of them, they have fulminant, huge cytokines related reaction where they have an ARDS, and the only therapy for them is keep them and ventilators, maybe need some ECMO, and just for them to until their lung healed in a way that they could recover. And that precious period is the gold window for them to survive. And no matter what percentage is a little, is how your system is going to provide to these people. So it's a balance. We need to know that we know for a fact that elderly and chronic diseases are the high risk of having, especially when they have a little reserve for them to balance and they can accommodate with the virus and infection. So we need to understand this area or these people or this segment are vulnerable, and we need to really carefully address them, protect them. And also it's our responsibility. So it's a kind of a civil duty and a moral responsibility to all people. Even if you are healthy, you have a responsibility toward those who are immunocompromised and also those who are elderly. And really, this is I think it's a multi approach. You need to approach them from the public messaging and also health system and etc. Over.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Abdellatif.
Yes. Yani, I will not say anything. It's okay for me. This answer is okay for me.
Okay. Nermeen, do you want to add anything to this observation from Dr. Arnaud at St. George's?
Yes, but because now I don't want really to be interference, but till now there is no definite answer for any pathological severity. And yesterday I have one of our doctors during only one day. It is doctor, it is small, it's young one. Only one day he is transferred from mild cases to very severe. Nobody knows anyway. He is. We do everything. We get mechanical ventilation, ECMO, even ECMO. It was not available everywhere, but we use ECMO. But it was very drastic and rapid. We don't know why. Till now, nobody knows for sure or for definite why this pathology has happened. So really, as a public health, I don't want to be interference in this very sophisticated thing.
Okay, thank you. Nermeen?
No, I don't have anything to add because still we have research has to take its time for us to reach an answer.
Maybe it's too early. You are right.
Yes.
I think one of the impression, and there is question about this, that while the infection is very severe. I mean, there is no term which is called very severe. It is severe in Europe and indeed in the United States, but this is certainly not in the Arab world. And then the question of being disciplined in the new norm may not be an incentive to many people, because the message which they are getting that the infection is not severe in the Arab world. Dr. Abdullah?
Well, this we need to be cautious about this.
Exactly.
Still, we are in middle of the pandemic, and no one can guarantee how the course is going to be.
Thank you.
All of us in our world. We've been luckily that we have some sort of young people as an Arab world. We happen to be a young
population,
and that's and happen that European, they have some sort of they have more of an elderly student. But again, no one can guarantee this one, and still early to say that we are off the hook or we are protected or something. No. This is still and major responsibility. Still, we are in the middle of the pandemic, and it's again a moral responsibility for everyone to practice these measures, try to protect themselves, and more importantly, to be responsible about the vulnerable group. Over.
Yeah. Abdellatif?
Professor Salman, this is really very important subject and very sophisticated topic. I will tell you حاجة in عربي ظريفة جدا. الناس العادية البسيطة جدا في مصر بتقول المرض مش بيعمل لنا حاجة. Scientifically, really, in Arab world or in Egypt, we have little fatalities, little morbidity, little mortality. Really, it is on the ground. يعني في الواقع فعلا المورتاليتي عندنا اقل، الموربيديتي اقل. انا بتكلم على الواقع الميداني مش الارقام حتى الحكوميه. لا فعلا ما فيش عندنا ديزاستر ومش عارفين ليه. المواطن العادي البسيط بيقول يا دكتور احنا ناكل الزلط، which is not for example accepted as a science, but في حاجه مش عارفينها. maybe genetic, maybe chloroquine, maybe malaria vaccination, maybe TB vaccination, maybe anything, we don't know. but really المواطن العادي قالها لي فعلا. بقول له ما تسلمش، قال لي لا هسلم. يا ابني ما تسلمش، قال لي يا دكتور احنا بناكل الزلط. المواطن العادي حاسس بيها، لكن we as scientists we have to prove or we have to see why this is happening.
أنا بالمناسبة our vice president معالي الدكتور توفيق خوجة للأسف كان المفروض يكون معنا، لكن شعر بحالة صحية أنه لازم go to bed early, he couldn't join us. He did
أنا بحب الراجل ده قوي، عشان خاطري يبلغوا سلامي. أنا بحبه قوي.
كلنا نحبه.
صحيح.
نتمنى له الصحة وإن شاء الله أزمة خفيفة. I just want to pull this point because there is a very good question from all the questions are fantastic, and I'll come to it gradually. We have plenty of time for questions. There's one question from Dr. Naim Al-Qasir about really how to increase the availability and visibility. She didn't put it this way. I'm modifying the question. The visibility of people who can support us, especially in relation to our mental health, in relation to actually supporting people either because of fear or indeed because of something happened within the family. And are we conducting sufficient research to prove that that support is needed and available through the health system, despite the shortcoming in many health systems, which hopefully we will discuss it in 2 weeks' time. Dr. Abdullah?
To be well, not every approach, as you know, Prof. Salman, in public health is backed up with evidence base. So we need to tailor our approaches and our according to the community based, and each community has different beliefs and different values, and how can we support them mentally. And during COVID, the approach and the importance of having an effective messages that could an effective approach that could alleviate the stigma of having a disease itself, and also comfort the and ease the anxiety, and at the same time have an effective, responsible community in order to be responsible about implementing these measures. I think it's very important to counter and enhance the third party, third sector in each community. For volunteering and also providing some sort of support. It's a responsibility for the whole sectors, not only one. It's not a health issue. We know that pandemic is not, definitely, and it has been shown this is not a health problem. It's a whole problem, the whole people problem. So we need to emphasize the importance of having an effective support to all society overall.
Dr. Abdellatif.
هي الدكتوره نعيمه stressed very important subject. حاليا في الحقيقه لما بتنزل الشارع بروفيسور سلمان بتشوف المنتال او السايكيك او اللي نقول عليها ازمه نفسيه اكتر من كوفيد نفسها. يعني بدات الناس تخاف وكأن كوفيد ده قاتل بلا شك. يعني I know some prestigious professors خايف يروح المستشفى، هو عنده القلب وعنده السكر وعنده سرطان، خايف يروح المستشفى لا يصاب بكورونا. تخيل حضرتك المنتال دايليما او السايكيك دايليما اللي حصلت في المجتمعات بقت خطيره جدا. يعني بدا فعلا انا بشكر الدكتوره نعيمه ان اثارت الموضوع ده، لانه لازم we have to deal with this. يعني ده بقى يعني تراجيديا او بقى يعني drastic measures we have to deal with it. ما نقدرش نسكت. زي ما بقول لحضرتك الناس العاديه بقت خايفه جدا جدا. انا اعرف ناس مش عندها فلوس او عندها فلوس وقاعده في البيت ومفيش المنطقه اللي فيها ما فيهاش ولا حاله بتاعه كوفيد. اذا احنا we are responsible really. يعني احنا as a public health professors, even the World Health Organization is responsible to some part of this. because بنعمل ايه يا بروفيسور سلمان؟ احنا كساينتست بنشارك العامه في كل التفاصيل العلميه اللي تخوف جدا جدا جدا. انت عارف حضرتك يمكن اتقابلنا مره واثنين وثلاثه ايام سارس وايام انفلونزا الطيور والخنازير.
نعم.
ودايما كنت بقول لازم نفرق بين التعاطي الاعلامي بتاع منظمه الصحه العالميه وبتاع العلماء في كل مختلف العالم للعامه وفي المختبرات، وبين التعاطي الاعلامي مع العامه البسطاء. لان لما بنقول مثلا كوفيد ده دروبلت ولا ايربورن، ده كلام علمي جدا. مجرد انه بيثار على الميديا بيخلي مليارات من العالم تموت من الهلع. لما نقول الانكوبيشن بيريود ممكن تكستند تو 50 يوم في احد الحالات، يعني حاله من ضمن 7 مليون حاله حصل فيها الانكوبيشن بيريود وصلت 50 يوم. ما خدش الكلام ده اطلاقا للعامه لانه بيعمل هلع جامد يا بروفيسور سلمان. انا عايز اقول we have to differentiate between our communication plans between scientists and communication plan for the public. لازم ناخد بالنا والحذر الشديد، لان دي نقطه خطيره جدا. لما نيجي بنتكلم بنقول مثلا الموجه الثانيه جايه قد تكون اخطر، لازم ناخد بالنا. بس ناخد بالنا كسياسيين كبوليسي ميكر كعلماء، مش ننقل المخاوف دي للعامه الا لما تكون متاكده. مش اي مخاوف وهي في الاول ولسه مثاره ولسه عايزه برين ستورمنج وعايزه الكلام ده ننقلها للعامه ونعمل مؤتمر صحفي كل يوم عن حاجات فيري سوفيستيكيتد قد تحدث او قد لا تحدث. بتؤدي النهارده مات ناس من الكانسر عشان خايفين من كورونا، مات ناس من الديابيتس خايفين من كورونا، مات ناس في بريطانيا. عندكم في بريطانيا بدات ازمه، الناس العواجيز او الكبار في السن خايفين يطلعوا ماتوا لوحدهم في البيوت. فدي أزمة لازم نعالجها. إحنا كساينتست أو كعلماء أو كخبراء في الصحة العامة مسؤولين، ولازم لا نخلط بين التعامل مع الناس العادية والتعامل في المختبرات والتعامل مع الساينس في المؤتمرات والكونفرنسز.
شكرا بروفيسور عبد اللطيف. دكتورة كمان yeah. Do you want to come here?
I just want to say a word. Fear is not something bad. Sometimes our communities, especially the Arab communities, fear drives them. So now because of the higher incidence of cases, people are taking more precautions and they are following the social distancing more. So we have to make a balance between we have to use fear in a way, but not to an extreme. The second thing that I want to add that fear is not the only mental stressor here. Also social isolation And the distancing is making a big stress here in our communities, as well as the loss of job opportunities as well. So I think we have to, it's a multi-sectorial approach has to be.
علّقوا بروفيسور سلمان.
اتفضل دكتور.
احنا عايزين الدكتوره بروفيسور نرمين قالت كلام مهم جدا فعلا. الخوف الطبيعي، القلق الطبيعي ده مطلوب عشان ناخد الحذر. عشان كده دايما انا بقول في كل اللقاءات التلفزيونيه لا للتهويل ولا للتهوين. احنا عايزين قلق طبيعي بس مش عايزين خوف، مش عايزين بانديميك. انا مش عايز بانديميك، لكن عايز قلق وخوف وتوتر اللي هو الايو ستريس، لكن مش عايز السيفير ستريس، والا بتبقى مشكله. بقول لك الناس خايفه تروح من السرطان، الناس خايفه تروح تعالج المايوكارديال انفاركشن من كوفيد. ده مش طبيعي. لكن الخوف اللي وصلني اغسل ايدي زي بنتي النهارده او حفيدتي بتقول لي 1 متر ابارت، 4 سنين اتعلمت كويس، لكن مش عايزه بقى تقعد في البيت وتخاف. وثانك يو بروفيسور نرمين فور ذات.
Thank you, Dr. Nermeen. Thank you, Professor. I just want to go back to the point which is raised by Dr. Abdullah, and I think really this is very important point. I link it to some of the point raised by you all. I documented this, which is a frequent and consistent communications is key to the success of the new normal. Okay. Who should communicate the messages? And there is a question from Professor Faisal Abdellatif al-Nasser in Bahrain. The role of the government and the role of the individuals, and who were responsible for such communications. Yani, take the situation in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and you are doing extremely well. Take the conditions in Egypt, which is the largest population in the entire Arab world. Who is responsible for that communication? Dr. Abdullah?
So I think it's a responsibility. It's a shared responsibility, to be honest. I think it's a collaborative work between all the sectors. It needs to be led by science, and by science. When we say science from the disease itself, and it's also science of delivering the message and how you articulate the message and the media content to be and addressing different sectors and different segment, and you segment the people in a way you can reach all these people. So it's not a responsibility of one entity or one sector. It's a responsibility of all. However, the most important thing is to have an effective communication system where it's sure and reliable, accurate information, trustworthy, that diffuse and disseminated through all the sector, whether it's a government or non-government. The most important is the content and how you articulate this message. So it's a responsibility of all. However, it's a collaborative work led by the professional who knows how to deliver the message. Over.
Will that let me continue with this theme, and I'll come back to Professor Abdellatif. Will that create a situation that everybody's business become nobody's business?
No, in the contrary. That means it's something that we create the channels where everyone have a way of delivering within the framework of messaging, and also the content, showing the people which area that should take the right messages and the right information, working with the whole sectors, government and government, delivering the message in a nice way and comprehensive and accurate, and definitely is not to leave any gap in communication. You need to be frequent and as consistent, and you don't leave any gap, and it has to be continuous until you reach an effective messages to all. So,
but Dr. Abdullah, there is a counteract, huge counteract to the messages which you, I, and all of us, Abdellatif, I know Professor Abdellatif appear on television almost every day, talking about the right messages, etc. But this is a drop in the ocean compared to the huge amount of misinformation coming from around the world. And I think there is a question linked to that from Dr. Yahya Al-Khalidi, our colleagues, and what he's saying that we are a global village now, and the information are available everywhere, and people receiving so many information from so many sources. And if not satisfied, and majority of the people tend not satisfied, despite my messages for years and saying, please, in terms of health information, rely on your Ministry of Health. Not only in COVID, but variety of other things. The main source for me in my country is my Ministry of Health. But still, because of that globalization and access to information, and we have huge misinformation, the worrying things that these misinformation are mainly led by scientists and doctors in particular. I mean, there is so much competition between scientists and doctors that everyone treating one patient in the hospital just to click on the WhatsApp and saying, I have the evidence, I have the solution. Chloroquine is the magic, so-and-so is the magic solution. And really, we are in this dilemma. And just to continue that, before I move to Professor Abdellatif, Dr. Abdullah, how do you, as a CDC, encountering that huge wave of misinformation across not only Saudi Arabia, the Arab world, and the world in general?
Well, this is something that is inevitable, so it has to be there. It's not, it's something that is universal, that there is a lot of new information or misinformation, or even it's accurate information, put it in different contexts that have misled to misinformation. And I think the key message is don't work in silo. You need to be and reactive, working with partner, and proactive. So you need to anticipate that the new message, and you need to really pick what you think this is an area of might be and potential, and then you address it. And you need to scale up. We are in the pandemic, so it cannot be you use the same format again as if you are not in the pandemic. You need to scale up, work with a partner, and as I said, that we need to be reactive and proactive at the same time in a way to address these issues. Over.
Sir Abdellatif.
في الحقيقة أنا بشكر البروفيسور فيصل لأنه ده نقطة أنا بعتبرها من أهم النقاط لينا خطورة وأهمية في الصحة العامة. واسمحوا لي هقول
By the way, Dr. Abdellatif, we have a lot of participants who don't speak English.
Okay.
Sorry, don't speak Arabic.
No, but
maybe both.
Arabic is one of the most important languages in the
world. I know. I'm sure I know that everyone knows.
Really, this is a very complex subject, very complex. Because first of all, this is طب هقول الاول الجمله دي بالعربي. انا اشتغلت مستشار للعديد من الوزراء في الخليج، في كذا دوله خليجيه، وفي مصر والمؤسسات المهنيه في الخليج وفي مصر. I have a dream. I want, and again I repeat my dream, to translate CDC, scientific health education, in Arabic. I failed to do this in Kuwait. I failed to do this in Saudi Arabia. I failed to do this in Egypt. Really, this is my big dream, to translate all health education material from American, US CDC to Arabic language on the same time, online. Even in WHO, there is very discrepancy between the health education in English language for World Health Organizations and the Arabic language translation and even time. You see, for example, COVID, you see, by English language, you can see it, health education, at the same time. After 2 weeks at least, or 3 weeks, maybe you find it. So there is a great gap between health education in Arabic language and English language in WHO. For CDC, nothing do. So I have this dream and I failed to do it, but really, if you can do it, Professor Salman or Professor Abdullah or Professor Nermeen, help me in this my dream. This is one point. The second, yes, please, if you want to do something. Okay. The second, as a professor, we have to start to unify the scientific message, the scientific core. We are responsible for the science. As Professor Salman said, if you go to internet, you will find billions of false informations, maybe one per thousand of scientific or sound information. We are science, we are responsible for that. First of all, we have to unify the scientific knowledge. We have to fight to get unique or sound information. After this, I think that the physicians themselves, the best source to inform the population. I have one research before. I found that the doctors themselves or physicians themselves are the best man for people, for the community, to convince people. They are beloved and they are convincing to the community. They are the best. So, but first of all, we have to unify. We have to get sound information. We have to get sound from World Health Organization, online information, online by, for example, 6 or 7 language, and then we can disseminate easier. Also, we have to use e-health for world education. There is 4 billion people in the world have smartphones. We have to use these smartphones for sound information. If we get e-health and sound information from the WHO by Arabic language at least, I can assure you that we can go ahead and we can change it dramatically.
Professor Nermeen?
No, I just want to add that this is a dream, my dream too, to make Arabic material for health education for the communities and in the high public health. Sorry?
We are to have the same dream.
Yes, and we're starting it in the High Institute of Public Health. We have started a Facebook page, and we're trying to we're testing this platform for our community, and it was a little bit difficult. We consulted experts colleagues working in the field of media, and it's not an easy task. It needs different specialists. We providing the messages. The way to deliver it is really not that easy. But now with the problem of Corona, we're connecting more and more to people, and I think we should make use of this problem now because people are eager to listen to institutes and to academians, academic people from their countries. They're eager to receive the messages in their language and cultured, tailored to their culture. So
we got to 20 minutes, and I want to zoom on the really issue here, because all of you, the three of you, talked about adjusting our life to the new model of living. Yes. I don't think adjustment is what is going to happen. I think we have to, and this is a challenge I put it to all of us to think about it and reflect on it. I think we are talking about inventing the new life, the new models of living. And therefore, I want to see how can we invent, because the coronavirus will not be the last virus, mainly because a lot of prediction now we can see. And by the way, the prediction of coronavirus in 2020 was made almost 5-6 years ago. Even President Obama announced in 2015 in one of his speeches that the world may face waves of viruses, etc. So how do we invent a new model of living? Let me start with Professor Nermeen. I want to stretch our thinking here.
This is a very difficult question, Dr. Salman. I think inventing it is by giving the example through media, and it should be something multi-sectoral. All sectors should put like a think tank to start this, but I'm not sure how, actually. I don't have an answer to this.
If you listen to the CNN, they say inventing tomorrow, you know,
Yeah.
and we use the term about inventing our future, you know. Actually, we commissioned some work within Imperial about creativity and innovation. I think Professor Elmor alluded to it in talking about how the health services is going to change, how our life is going to change. Ustad Dr. Abdullah talked explicitly about it in terms of the social relationship, and he referred to shaking hand and kissing each other, etc. You know, so how we invent different type of living. Dr. Elmor,
Professor Salman, I stress a little bit about this is very important subject because I told you we have very big defect in our health. The percent of expenditure on health only 3%, might be 2% from the GDP. In some developed countries, it may be reached 8 or 9 or even 11, as Germany, for example. So this is big, huge difference. If you want to make health or to invent in health, you have to increase your expenditure on health. You cannot invent for tomorrow in health for tomorrow by this little bit investment or health budget. We have to increase our expenditure on health as a whole, and we have to increase our investment on preventive medicine, on health promotion. Health promotion consume only from 0.6, less than 1% to 6 point. Starting, and health promotion can change or can develop even more than 60% of the whole problem. So we have to change the budget from curative, from now maybe 95 of the health budget to curative, to only 5% only for preventive medicine. We cannot invent for health education. We cannot invent for e-health. We cannot invent for health promotion with this is very big defect in money, big defect in skilled manpower.
Okay, Dr. Elmor, this is about, honestly, Abdellatif, this is what you talked about is about the health service. And this is a small element in our life. The big picture about our life is totally different. It's about the belief system. There is a question from Dr. Ali Abdullah, a leading family physician from Iraq, saying that many people, indeed the majority, deny the presence of coronavirus, okay, and the existence of COVID. So that's what I'm saying. You have to look at the belief system.
Of course.
And I'll come to Dr. Abdullah now. I mean, the second things, you look at the economic behaviors. You know, the shopping, the industry, the production, the whole financial system, the banking, etc. Then you look at the social context, which is by far much bigger. We are living in the 21st century. I mean, the way people socializing, the people spending their recreation activities, the people taking care about their children and family, the issues of education, schooling from nursery to universities and higher education, the issues of international relationships, about really holidays and travels and name it. You're talking about extremely complex creativity and innovation, which we have to explore. And I think really we in public health, at least as Arab Public Health Association, we are not putting, and I think there is one question from Dr. Lubna Al-Ansari, and Lubna got tremendous experience both in research and international work, in her work at WHO as Assistant Director General in Geneva, that the research area, the public health research, is very weak to answer many questions needed. You know, Dr. Abdullah, how do we putting that big envelope of creativity and innovation?
Thank you, Prof. I think as you stated before, pandemic is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah.
I think there is a responsibility on us as a health and sectors, or as a public health profession, is to capitalize on our experience with COVID. We know for a fact, and I don't think so, the world will be the same as pre-COVID again. So definitely, there are area has developed and has get matured across the globe. For example, the importance of principle of personal hygiene and social distancing is for sure during this. As you say, the world is getting a small village now, is important in delivering this key messages to people. And also we know for a fact that we learn and the whole globe has learned that pandemic is not a health issue. It's a multi-faced problem that affect economy, security, and every aspect. If you think in our life, it has a social and psychological impact as well. You may know that has a role in that. So I think we need to capitalize on this. It's our responsibility to understand and work on that. I think there is always rule of implementing health and all policy approaches afterward. You can use whatever now in pandemic as an example of what's important of injecting health aspect in every policy across the government. Still, I don't think so. We are still there is area of improving this and injecting this, and also give a space for inventor and creator to give a space to invent method and platforms for enhancing health and preventing recurrence.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, that's it. Over.
Yeah, I mean, I want to put a challenge to all of us, including me and the team with me at Imperial. We are a leading public health team, at least in different parts of the world. Let me say that the COVID-19 challenged all our competencies. Now the question to you, do we have the right competencies in public health to deal with such a magnitude of pandemic? What type of competencies we need? How should we actually reinvent training programs? Should we continue relying on taught courses like MPHs, which I feel may not be fully suitable for the situation like this pandemic? We've seen, of course, PhDs are university bases and they are fantastic in research, but we didn't see any critical mass of research, although it's a very short period of time and we don't want people to rush to unreliable research, but at least we need to see some foundation. So the question is, do we have the right competencies in public health, and how should we change our program?
No.
Dr. Abdellatif.
Big no. I'm sorry
Big
to say
no.
that. Big no.
Big no.
I want to thank Professor Lubna Al-Ansari. Really, it's very big, not topic, very big subject, very, very big. As you know, many of the competencies required for public health, many, because by definition, health is complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual. So by definition, health is multi-sectorial, interactive, many things, and many fields, many sciences are included in public health. The main competencies for public health, I think, communication. We are doctors. Lack communication, very lack in communications. As e-health, we lack e-health. We lack even leadership and management. We are professors in public health. I'm not speaking about professors in public health, but as public health working in the field, they lack communication, leadership and management, e-health. Social dimensions are very little in public health. We stress about the medical aspect, but we are not stressing on social dimension of health, spiritual dimension of health. We are not spiritual, stress on that. So we have really, I'm sorry to say, big no competent quality and quantity. And also I will stress again my point of view that because public health professor or public health doctors salary are very little, so competent doctors are not going, I'm sorry to say that, for public health. They are not having a clinic. This is reality. This is a reality.
Yeah, I expected that. That's why I prepared the check. Professor Nermeen. Yeah. Professor Nermeen, please.
Dr. Salman, no, we're not competent, and this was obvious from previous experiences because public health practitioners, they don't have a big field as compared to clinicians. Preventive medicine is not taking its chances as the curative sectors in ministries of health or in our communities. So I think no, we don't have the competencies. But after COVID-19, I think we are trying to we're given the chance to gain and to prove ourselves. So I think it's a chance that we should take.
Thank you. Dr. Abdullah, ma'alaikum.
Well, I think there is an area of improvement in this thing.
Can you answer, Dr. Abdullah? دي إجابة دبلوماسية, Dr. Abdullah.
So what I'm trying to say is I think we need to work on creating value. I think public health professionals should work hard on collaboratively and also to create value of their profession, using the pandemic as example, and also provide the practical implementable approaches through the society. We need to step out from theory a lot and go to do some practical thing to the community. We need to reach out to community, work in the field as we need and as we should. And we need to create value. I think once we create value and work using our experience and what we have now, I think, and again, this is something is not restricted to our board. I think this is universal. Yeah. Is not restricting. This is something phenomena of focusing on the curative and arm is something universal, driven by so many factors. But I think public health has element that they have to be reach out to the people and work with them in a small scale, and then you go outside. So I think there are areas of improvement, as you said.
Yeah, I must congratulate you, Dr. Abdullah, for starting the idea. So many congratulations for the conceptual thinking about Public Health Academy to improve public health competencies. I know there are questions actually raised I can't see on my screen as well as on my telephone. What are these needed competencies? Some of it already mentioned by Professor Elmor. But I think what I'm just thinking loud here, that maybe we organize one of these settings, one of these webinars on public health competencies, but not now, later on in a few months' time, in defining revision or revisiting public health competencies to be much, much more responsive and competent. Sorry, Professor Elmor.
No, please, this is very nice. I want to say it's now or never. Now or never. هقولها بالعربي. يا دلوقتي نقدر نصلح احنا كصحه عامه وبابليك هيلث ونستغل الفرصه دي، يا مش هنقدر تاني خالص. العالم في بانديميك، العالم في مشكله، كله مدرك اهميه الصحه العامه. لو مش قدرنا كسبجكت وكتايتل وكتخصص وكاطباء صحه عامه نستغل الفرصه دي، مش هنصلح ومش هنقدر ابدا. ناو اور نيفر. دي فرصه للفوز، فرصه للصحه العامه كسبجكت.
Yeah. I think Dr. Yahya gave us a list of competencies. I have a question, although I didn't try to avoid it, but I don't want to be accused by avoiding question. From Ali Al-Shalchi, I think he's the dean of the medical school at Baghdad University, Professor Al-Shalchi, and saying it's really it's a good question about. Technical question about the description of the mask and what is the best mask and what is the most effective, number one. And the second question is also, can we explain why US and Europe are hurt more? And I think I raised that question earlier. And the answer to it already given in saying that it's too early to judge. As we have seen, a lot of people, unfortunately, despite we warned about this in our paper, which is published by WHO IMBRO about the exit strategy, we said, don't get that correct impression about Sweden, that they are most successful model. It's not. And Sweden now, they have the highest mortality per capita in the world, actually.
But also it is not an easy to say it is biased.
Yeah, I know. But that's why it's too early, because none of the countries in our region actually reached the peak as yet. We have 5 minutes, and I just want to raise one important question in commonality. In the absence of any credible treatment, as Dr. Abdullah mentioned, and the distance between today and the availability of vaccine, and even if vaccine will be available, it will not be sufficient enough to cover the world. You know, they say even in the first 6 months or even longer, once it's available, the production may be 100 million doses, and there will be huge competition. What the message, and I want 2 messages from each of you. What are the messages to our public health workforce? And the people who are with us are not the public, are public health workforce. People who are doing fantastic job every day. They are in the field, and on your behalf, on behalf of the populations everywhere in the Arab world, we say thank you to them, and our colleague in primary care, and our colleague in hospital care, our colleague in community care, home cares, and our colleagues in social care. They are doing fantastic job. So what are the 2 messages to public health workforce in the Arab world? Dr. Abdullah.
First of all, we would like to thank them, really. I think they are heroes, and really appreciating their work. I think we need to know that first of all, that we couldn't thank you more for doing this great job, and also the second message, that you need to learn from this experience, and do not forget this important experience, and how you going to translate it to future generation or next generation to enhance the experience.
Dr. Elmor, Abdullah?
Really, I'm very proud of all my professors and my colleagues and my students for public health. I am very proud, really. But I stress them to read more and more and more, and to get more skills, and to press and make very pressure on lobby, make lobby for the government or for the Minister of Parliament members, to convince them by the importance of public health. We are the best branch now. This is our time. now or never. If we can't convince our parliament members, our government, by the importance of public health as a subject and as importance to pass and to exit this very big pandemic, we cannot get another chance. So I think we have the chance to win. We have the time to win, and you are doing very well. I'm proud of all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nermeen. Nermeen?
I would like to thank them, all public health practitioners all over the world, in our countries as well, in the Arab countries. And I would like to tell them that they still have a long way to go. Their job is going to continue a little bit longer, even if a vaccine was, if a vaccine was found. Because we are, of course, countries of low and middle incomes. So we are not going to be the first to receive the vaccines. So I think they have a lot of work to do, and maybe a little bit longer time to work. But this is experience, and I think it's their chance, as Dr. Abdellatif said. It's a big chance we all should take. And I wish them all the luck.
Listen, at the end, I really don't know how to thank you. I'm so grateful for excellent 90 minutes we have together. I apologize that I couldn't address the questions. I received questions from actually all participants. I received the questions on emails, on WhatsApp. And I'm trying to, listening to you, concentrate at the same time addressing the question. This is a new invented way of challenge to anyone managing a meeting of that size. So thank you, Dr. Abdullah. Thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency. And I know you have such a short, valuable time you gave us. You left your meeting at 7:30 you started at 7:30 and you left your meeting to join us. Professor Elmor, Abdellatif, shukran jazilan. Thank you very much. I know you wanted in Arabic, so I say shukran jazilan. Thank you very much.
I'm looking for Arabic. Yes.
And our chairman, Professor Nermeen, thank you very much. I know all of you came at a very short notice. Through you, I do want to make an announcement about next week and the week after. Next week, we will talk hopefully about testing and contact tracing. Yeah. I invited Professor Andrew Howe from Public Health England. He is very experienced Director of Public Health. He is on the contact tracing team and surveillance in the UK. I also invited my dearest friend and brother, Dr. Muhannad from Jordan. Muhannad al-Nisur, I think all of you know him, the Middle East Public Health Net. He will be with us as well. The week after that, on the 17th, this is on the 10th, on the 17th, we will discuss about how health systems will look like. And I invited my dearest brother from WHO Umro, Dr. Awad Matariya, and we will find a second guest shortly to join him, maybe from Sweden or from Netherlands or from Japan. We'll see who will be available at such a short note. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. I really enjoyed being with you, and I'm grateful to you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely night. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for my team in the background organizing. We didn't have any extra noises. I should mention their name, Chido, David, and Harumi. Thank you very much. Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Bye-bye.